Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of visionary entrepreneurs and uncover the strategies shaping their company's futures. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we dive into the stories behind innovative ventures, the challenges they face, and the paths to growth. Today, we are excited to have Jim Recker, the founder and CEO of Invenir AI. Jim brings a unique blend of expertise in sales, training, and pioneering technologies like AI with a career spanning DSL, web conferencing, and AI-powered solutions at companies like Blue Jeans. Based in San Francisco, Invenir AI, founded in 2025, is transforming how businesses bridge innovation and execution, streamlining go-to-market strategies with agentic AI and human expertise. We'll be exploring his founding story, how Invenir AI empowers clients to accelerate revenue, and his vision for scaling this cutting-edge venture. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Jim, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me, Jay. Very excited to be here.
Absolutely, man. A pleasure and an honor to have you on the show today, Jim. So with that, I would love for you to take us back to the beginning. What specific problem in the go-to-market landscape really inspired you to start Invenir AI?
Of all people, it was a person I'd never expected to inspire me, but a gentleman's name is Eric Yuan, founder and CEO of Zoom. And he was standing on stage last fall touting 3,000 new releases over the past year. And I'm standing there looking at him going, how the heck is marketing, sales, and customer care keeping up? There's no possible way. And in fact, if you go to the Zoom website right now, you will see that some pictures of their most recent UI is actually 2 months old. They're not keeping up. And I said to myself, something has to be done.
Interesting. Okay. So with that there, let's get right into it because I would love to hear what you're doing with Invenir. I know our listeners would love to hear. So walk us through everything you're doing today with Invenir AI. What is the core offer? How is it structured for your clients? And who is your ideal client for Invenir AI?
So I think anybody that is going through a launch phase, releasing something new to market, and it doesn't necessarily have to be software, it could be anything for that matter, will generally find out that there's several holes in their process, mainly because most people don't have the expertise on staff or have the money or have the time. And I think one of the biggest challenges that most companies run into as they start to release something is there's some flaws, there's some gaps, and then there's some what I call orchestration. I was just talking to someone the other day about the orchestration. What we've decided to do at Invenir is that we could replicate and do what everybody else is doing. You want a video done? Oh, AI will put that together. Social media post, ChatGPT can do that. Why would I have to do that? There's a lot of different tools out there to create the content, but there's no one actually orchestrating the launch of a release. And I was talking to someone last week about this and mentioning to them, imagine the conductor of an orchestra who is creating a symphony. Is that conductor actually doing the content, aka music? No. The conductor, the orchestra leader, is actually making the symphony actually happen by coordinating all the pieces of the puzzle. And that's what Invenir is all about. We're there to coordinate and to orchestrate with autonomous agentic AI the whole go-to-market process from the time that's the product release document is accepted by engineering and they start building. We jump in and we're developing and orchestrating the content for marketing, sales, and customer care.
Incredible. Incredible. So definitely want to be able to dive into that a little bit more with you here. Obviously, Jim, you just launched this year. I know there's a lot in the mix right now for you. So how are you approaching the idea of scaling Invenir AI and having a productized offer, taking that to market and really being able to grow this thing? What's the mindset there?
The interesting thing is two things. First of all, we don't have an engineering team. People will say, wait a second, how are you creating your model? In fact, more importantly, what's your launch going to look like? Obviously, we're going to drink our own champagne, but we came to recognize pretty early on that even if we took the time to put together an engineering team, it would take some time to bring that team to maturity. And just all the pieces of the puzzle that require to get an engineering team to be a really clean, smooth operating part of the organization, we just didn't have the time. Agentic AI and AI in general is moving so rapidly. I needed to figure out a way to get us to market more rapidly. And here in the Silicon Valley, there's actually a company called the Agentic that's essentially is looking to help organizations that have domain expertise and help bring them to market. So we're partnering with them, and really the best way to put it, that's my engineering team. And I have my own fractional CTO, I have my own fractional product manager, and we've already started the development. Should be ready by early September and coming to market and starting to sell almost immediately without having to put together a whole engineering team. So that in itself actually is completely different. There's a whole new agile design model that I don't think anybody else is using right now.
Incredible. Incredible. So you said something there that you're going to be ready to launch in September. So right now you're still in it. It's still in its infancy phase. So you're not doing anything around bringing clients on just yet. You're still tweaking everything the way it's supposed to be. So what does it look like right now? And what are the things that need to be implemented to really get you to getting clients in and starting to really take off?
I'll quickly explain the difference between generative AI and agentic AI.
Yeah.
The first model is, I'll call it the reactive model. So you have to know how to prompt well. And anybody that's using AI out there, recognize that. The better you are at prompting, the more that you use your prompts, the more that you train your LLM to help you along your journey, whatever you're trying to create. That's generative AI. Agentic AI is different. It's proactive, and essentially you are designing agents to help you with your tasks, which is why it's so perfectly fit with what we're trying to do here with the flow of go-to-market. We're essentially developing autonomous, customized, personalized agents for every step of the way. So really, we're starting actually at the beginning of the journey, which is what starts everything, what starts the go-to-market. And right now, there's two little models. One's called CI/CD, which is continuous integration, continuous developments. And it's a model that actually companies that are developing software really rapidly, especially those with AI, are using. And I'll use Zoom as an example. There's a whole bunch of other companies that are using CIDC. Or there's a traditional route, which you're creating that PRD, putting together your engineering notes and all that, and putting together your requirements for what you're trying to design. That's the beginning of our journey. And we've actually started at that point. So we're step by step building out the agents, testing them out, making sure they're getting you to the next step. And ultimately, what we'll end up having is have agents that are specialized in certain key areas, marketing, sales, and customer care. And more importantly, testing out the integrations. Because we're not going to build the software that develops that content. We're going to integrate with it. For video, for instance, do I need to create my video myself? No, I'm just going to integrate with tools such as Synthesia, HeyGen, and others that are recognized leaders in the field of creating video. And I'll create with an agent, an autonomous agent, we'll create, for instance, the script, the parameters of that video, but we won't physically do that video because we'll just be integrated to that video tool. And that, in a sense, if you think about it, going back to the beginning of this conversation about the orchestra leader, it's not the conductor that's actually playing the music. It's the orchestra conductor who is directing the flutist, the trombone, all the different artists that are playing their instruments. And we're doing the same thing. We are going to orchestrate all those instruments that one needs to do that launch and on one single platform.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So with that being said, I mean, you have the CTO, you have the product manager, yourself. You three are really taking this and going above and beyond to get it to where you want it to be and scale it efficiently. What would you say are some of the bigger bottlenecks that you're dealing with, or some of the acquisition methods that you're thinking about when it comes to getting this successfully bringing on clients?
First of all, I'll say I'm not doing this alone. I actually have two co-founders, one with the domain expertise in marketing and the other with the domain expertise in sales. So the three of us actually have brought to the table this domain expertise in go-to-market. I also have a background in sales engineering, I have a background in development, I have a background in product marketing. So all those skill sets are being brought to play to help develop this whole product. Areas that we may find some challenges, I can think of a couple of them right off the bat, is security. So what kind of security do you need for go-to-market? We actually had this very animated discussion this morning about this. Do you need security? What is the security for? After all the materials actually is designed to be released to the public. So what do you need to keep secure? There's a very big topic, I guess is to put it, because you have to also think about how do you keep your agents secure. And so security is not something that we are going to disregard because it is going to be critical to keep our customers' projects clean. That's something that we're going to probably have to work on. We haven't started to work on it yet. That's probably one of my first challenges. But amusingly, and like I said, I'm really excited about that. We need to use our own tool to actually do our own release. And so the question is, will we be able to do that? If we're unable to do that, then the question is, will we have anything to release? So that's really what's going to be testing us, because ultimately using our own tool to do our own release is really the end game.
I absolutely love that, and where you're going and what you're doing with AI is huge for our listeners as well, because it just shows this is the future, right? Being able to really put everything together and have it all in one under one umbrella is incredible. Walk us through the vision here. I know you touched on it a bit, Jim, but what is the vision for the rest of this year? What are you really laser focused on for that success of Invenir?
So our biggest challenge is adoption. In fact, the biggest challenge for AI in general is adoption. I was watching something on TV the other day talking about what prompts somebody to get into a Waymo, a car with no driver. That's really extreme AI adoption right there. And so our client base is going to have to feel confidence that they can adopt our platform to do all the steps they've been doing manually. Ultimately, if we do it right and they follow all of our guidance and orchestration, they're going to be able to release something 35 to maybe up to 60% faster than before and at a much lower cost. And then the question is, how does that impact all of those teams that originally you had to hire to help you do a release? And this, of course, is the big question of AI in general. What is the impact that AI is going to have in all areas? Marketing, sales, customer care, just to start. But it will actually determine in the short term and in the longer term where the human fits into the whole process. Some people have actually asked me, will you need humans anymore? And we purposely have actually put in some pauses as you go through the go-to-market cycle, because it's required. The human's going to have to determine, for instance, are all the pieces of the puzzle all together so we can do that release. Humans will still be involved, but people that are actually building out all of the elements and all of the assets for a go-to-market, will they be needed anymore? For sure, there will be some big changes. And it's not only in go-to-market. As we all know, AI is going to have huge impact across all of the things that we do as humans, because they're going to make everything much more efficient, much more quick, at a much lower cost. Already, we've seen huge impacts on certain areas, such as, I'll use sales as an example. I know a lot of organizations that have, I'll just say it as it is, laid off account executives because bots have come into play. I know one guy, for instance, who's trying to find a job in customer service and can't. Why? Because bots have taken over that role as well. This is going to have impact similar or probably greater than the Industrial Revolution, in my opinion. And for me, it's the most exciting place I could possibly see myself be at this instance. It's just really so much fun watching all this stuff develop. And I have no idea how it's going to end.
I don't think any of us do. And that's the exciting part about it, Jim. So, with that, how do you see the AI driven go to market industry evolving in the coming years, especially with your hybrid AI human approach? What are you doing to really keep Invenir ahead of that evolution?
First off, there's a lot of gaps in the SMB, the small, medium sized business and mid market. Most of those small to mid market organizations don't really have the budget to do it well, don't have the expertise to do it well. And I could see easily solving a lot of their immediate challenges. I was talking to a CEO of a small training technology firm the other day, and he was telling me, he says, with your tool, I could easily see 60% more revenue. And I said, what do you mean? I said, we, for instance, will fix a bug, but then we fail to let the customer know. We fail to let customer care know. And then what ends up happening is the customer feels that we haven't fixed the bug. So then when sales comes around for renewal 6, 8 months later and says, I'm sorry, we're not renewing with you because you haven't fixed your bug. Gee, with your tool, that would have been the notification would have gone out to the customer. So the customer would be encouraged to stay on with us. And not only that, there's a whole bunch of other features the CEO was saying that our customers are not aware of because we don't have time or the funding to go out and do the marketing and inform our sales teams that we have all these new features. So we probably do releases and maybe only half of them are made aware to the customer. So there alone, he was saying just the terms of revenue that I'll now be able to see because the accurate information is out there is going to dramatically change my small little company. And we anticipate not only in software, but in a variety of different areas. We're already exploring with one company, seeing how we can help them launch hardware. And I've also been looking in other verticals as well. Invenir will start off by, first of all, building its own first customer base with an expertise in what I would call autonomous personalized agents. That, by the way, that term is new. And I'll pause by saying a lot of people are not aware of this, but there is a new job category in a lot of companies out there, especially in software, called the AI engineer. And that may have several members of staff working for him or her so that they can help the organizations they're working with adopt AI. So Invenir is going to have to work in conjunction with AI adoption, number one. We're going to be doing a lot of education to help people better understand what agents are, so people feel less anxious, feel more ready to get into the driverless car like Waymo.
Yeah.
And it will require a lot of fine tuning along the way because of how these agents have to fit in to these different models. Every company has a different model. Every company has a different feel, a different tone. And so the personalizations of agents, to me, is going to actually the thing I'm most interested in going ahead.
Absolutely. I love that. So with that right there, Jim, I do want to take us into the lightning round. Incredible just hearing how your brain is operating with this level of understanding of AI. So many people aren't even close to this. So just amazing having you on the show truly so far, Jim. So with the closing round, I would love to hear a tool or a resource that you're using right now, whether it's an AI insight, a sales strategy, a tool. What can you say is the biggest game changer for Infinir this far?
I would say the area that I'm having most fun, that I believe most people have most fun, especially with AI, is creating a partnership with an AI platform, with an AI tool. I started off with Anthropic's Claude, and I'm not promoting Anthropic or Claude. I'm just saying I found myself most in tune with that particular platform. And I've had very long discussions, not only about what I'm trying to do with Invenir, but also exploring other areas of interest of mine. I do some community work with farmers markets, and I found myself exploring with Claude, why are people not attending farmers markets as much, and how people's attitude changed since the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. And that was just a long conversation with Claude, which, by the way, can go on for days and days. I think that's an exploration with a AI assistance is probably the best way to prepare oneself for the changes that we'll see in our jobs, in our lives moving ahead. We also will find, I'm also finding a lot of people getting, what was the thing that I just ran into earlier? Oh, I know what it was. It was people who have been using coaching. And I'm seeing huge changes in the coaching space because people are going online and getting coaching from these AI tools as opposed to humans. Will that change the way the world operates? Oh, for sure. Is it good or is it bad? Of course, I'll say it's good, but it's something that we as humans need to understand. And then last but not least, of course, with all these different AI tools out there, you want to go out there and explore and learn as much as you can because it will impact you somewhere in your life, personal or professional. And so it's best to be aware of what these AI tools do right now.
100%. Absolutely. I love that. And I have one more question for you, Jim, before we wrap up the show today. And that's going to be on the advice side. What is the best piece of advice that you can personally leave for our listeners tuning in right now? Just heard your incredible journey and everything you're going to do with Invenir. What can you leave them with before we wrap up the show today?
I used to say when I was a kid, always question authority. Now I do something slightly different, which I always question technology and how technology is used. Generationally, it's already very apparent different generations use technology differently. I worry about younger generations relying too much on technology and not seeking answers on their own. So don't adopt too much of a crush on these technologies. My best advice that I gave to my daughter a long time ago, she was standing on the beach, nose to the phone, and I took the phone away from her and I said, look up. And there was a sunset right in front of her. And she now always sends me pictures of sunsets. Always look up. Don't be always focused on AI in front of you. Pay attention to the humans and just don't ignore what technology is doing.
I love it. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. And just a massive thank you to you, Jim, for sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us today on the show. Incredible. The conversation was incredible, and I know that you're going to do some amazing things with Invenir. So definitely would love to have you back on the show in the future because I know there's going to be some good updates. But again, thank you so much. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And you can also learn more about Invenir AI at invenir.ai. And you can connect with Jim on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Recker. And for more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.